Coming up on today's After News, Shane McMahon has been spotted with an AEW champion.
The Creed brothers booked for Bloodsport.
Why MJF is not interested in AEW's world title just yet.
And a former WWE Women's Champion is out until 2025.
I'm Adam Wilborn.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
And this is the After News. And the news we've all been hoping for has gotten one step closer.
Oh, God.
Shane McMahon was spotted hanging out with an AEW World Champion. Granted, it's at the airport where wrestlers are most of the time, but the name works because think of his entrance theme, think of the wrestler he could be hanging out with. You're right, it's Mercedes. Here comes the money. Yeah. PWInsider.com coming through the reports confirming they were spotted just shooting the breeze at LaGuardia in New York City. They're on their way to their respective flights. Probably both on Tony's private plane or something, I don't know. I've made that part up. But one source which PWInsider.com reached out to confirmed they did have a conversation about AEW. Obviously, loads of rumours recently with Shane McMahon being like, yeah, I'll go and work for AEW, whatever.
Why not?
And Tony Khan basically saying, I'll have a chat with him. Why not? We both loved going to ECW back in the day.
A lot of things in common, weirdly.
Now, I will clarify that Shane was not backstage, despite living in NYC, of course, at Forbidden Door over the weekend. But it will be interesting to see if Mercedes provides a bit of an update or clarification even on this in her newsletter. She did also show off, I love this little tidbit as well, she got a special bottle of tequila sent to her by George Clooney after her title win at Forbidden Door. Well, there's a sentence I didn't think I'd be saying in 2024.
She's working a bit now where she's his best friend.
Yes.
Like, I think there was
Who do that?
Was it after big... was it after Big Business?
Maybe.
Where something like, George reached out. So we're kind of mates now. Yeah.
We share an espresso every now and again.
I don't like that insincerity over pretending that you're somebody's best friend. I think it comes across as very forced and fake. If I was watching a video, I'd probably have to watch it several times on different sort of devices to really feel the requisite anger about it. Stitching. This is wild, isn't it?
You're telling me there's a chance?
Well, Shane McMahon, interestingly, like Shane McMahon and Mercedes Moné are getting spotted at the same airport. It's, of course, news. And I love that this source, apparently we're talking about AEW. Who's the source? How did you know that? Like, what? Like, that's it. You've got one of them, like, long trumpets out your ear, just, like, listening. But presumably, this wasn't the only interaction of wrestlers this weekend, because, of course, WWE were at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, right? Yes.
So Shane McMahon could be acting, of course, officially has nothing to do with WWE anymore. Stephanie McMahon doesn't either, but she was in the building. She was at the Mecca. She was WWE brackets H for SmackDown on Friday. So, there's every chance that so too was Shane McMahon, so too were a bunch of wrestlers. There were probably numerous overlaps of wrestlers in the city that never sleeps over the weekend with AEW being there for Forbidden Door. And yet, of all the people, in all the places, it was these two in an airport. I love that.
What if he's the wild card on Wednesday? Oh, people think Hangman Page, you think Christian Cage. Yeah. Could just be Shane McMahon.
Here comes the money hits. Like, to be fair, right, if you go back to 2019 and you say, give me two wrestlers that will definitely never appear in AEW and certainly never wrestle against each other, I'd say Jeff Jarrett and Shane McMahon were pretty high on that list. Oh my, I don't think I want it now. I think you've cracked it. And he's of course, it's the Elite's wild card, and it would sort of stack up that they've brought him into, like, their Blood and Guts team.
He never does a live streams because he's got a life. No, but I think we should do a live stream without him finding out about it whenever Shane does debut in AEW with Michael Sidgwick. Because I want to see what that reaction is.
I think he'd be into it. Honestly, I think at this point, like the chaos of that.
Oh, it'd be wild.
Do you want to look at it? Is it bad for business long term? Probably. Do you want to see it short term? Every single week.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just the more the story stays in the ether, the more you start to visualise it, and the more you visualise it, the more dangerous it becomes. So, I guess we'll keep you updated.
It's a draw, isn't it? You got the big numbers for, was it 32?
WrestleMania 32. Literal tens of thousands of tickets.
Jeez.
I think he can be credited as selling when it was announced that he'd be working the day of May.
Imagine if he was the catalyst for an upswing for AEW in terms of like ratings and attendances, and then we'd have to be like, what does this business mean anymore?
I think we're kind of brushing past what Shane McMahon could realistically bring to All Elite Wrestling. That, of course, is AEW Underground, and not dissimilar to WWE Underground, pioneered by Shane McMahon, is Bloodsport. We could argue one was an influence or another. I'm not one to say which was which.
Plus, he could make it blood, guts, and sweat. They Sorry, I know you were moving on to your second story there.
Oh, no, that's dead. Blood and Guts is dead, thank you very much.
But thankfully Bloodsport isn't, because they've got two kick-ass people joining.
Blood and Sweat. So he's going to change his name. Get rid of the cage. Yeah, Bloodsport's going to rule. The Creeds, Julius and Brutus, advertise obviously singles wrestlers for Bloodsport because it's, you know, a single elimination tournament. But oh my God, they joined Shayna Baszler working Bloodsport 11 on July 29th in Brooklyn. This is going to be the second time Shayna Baszler has done a Bloodsport, the second time WWE have worked directly with Bloodsport after WrestleMania weekend.
Good relationship developing here.
Seems that way. Nick Khan was of course present at Bloodsport over WrestleMania weekend.
Are you going to work it?
I would love that. He'd probably book himself to win it. CM Punk and Nia Jax and a host of wrestlers were stood right behind me, actually, at Bloodsport that time. But
better tickets.
It appears that this will be the case again, and this will be another edition of Fed Sport as we continue to try and work out what exactly this relationship is. But just strictly analysing this from a talent level, there aren't many better on this roster than the Creeds themselves to work this style.
Oh, absolutely. Like, if I was signing up for Bloodsport, I never would, obviously. I'm not insane. But imagine, and you'll be facing Brutus Creed.
There's no ropes, of course, in the Bloodsport ring, but that doesn't mean you can't do a Brutus ball from the ring to the floor if somebody takes a powder.
It's a piece of offence, just throwing yourself at someone.
Yeah, just like a wrestler that's down on the ground flat.
Does this mean, like, arguably you and I could sit here and speculate other WWE wrestlers that could just show up in Bloodsport? Because
100%.
I have an option, and he's called Obafemi, and he's awesome in NXT.
There's also, as well, there's genuine sort of, I guess, like, unique crossover stuff going on here, because of course it was only a couple of weeks ago that in Japan for Bloodsport, Bushido, while Josh Barnett took the brand on tour, he main evented against Jon Moxley.
Yes.
He was then IWGP champion and of course AEW mainstay and the like. So whilst I would never expect there to be an overlap, I would assume that would be something that both companies would want to protect and preserve. It is interesting that right now at least these Bloodsport cards appear to be one of the epicenters of where like every company can donate talent to.
Coming together for the Creeds, isn't it? You sense there's going to be a stable with them and Ivy Nile and Chad Gable going forward. I just hope competing in Bloodsport, you know, doesn't affect their output, like Mox at Forbidden Door. That was atrocious, that match with Naito, wasn't it?
It really was, but I just wasn't expecting you to go in two-footed there. Are you working Bloodsport?
Be better. So,
as well, you've got to spiderweb game pro wrestling. You've got to telephone, telegram, telewrestler. Do the math, right? So Creed's on this Bloodsport. Who else works Bloodsport? Bushido. That's right. Santino Marella. Ergo, who's probably going to get called up to the main roster with the Creeds and Ivy Nile? Ariana Grace. I'm just asking questions. Yeah. Imagine Ariana Grace being forced to work at Bloodsport. I don't even want to do the wrestling.
Yeah, Jesus.
Come on, Josh Barnett.
Make it happen.
Book it. It's Bloodsport 101.
Right, let's talk about me and my best friend, Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He has clarified on Bust Open Radio. We could have had him on, but I already knew all this, so there's no need.
You weren't sure if you were safe to aggregate.
Yeah. It's just, you know, that's just private conversation between friends.
Text messages.
Clarified. Basically his current thought process about getting back to the world title and why he's not immediately going after Swerve Strickland, saying, I know how to pick my spots, right now is not the time, I know when the time is, right now it's not. Swerve is on a goddamn roll, the guy is absolutely locked in, he's next level right now. Do I want to deal with him at this moment when he's 100% and I'm still healing from a shoulder injury? Do you think that's bright? I'm a man that picks my spots. Everyone else in this company is dumb. Everyone in this company works hard, working hard suckers. It's stupid, I work smart. He also admitted he didn't like Strickland. He sees wrestling in a very different way to he does. But he does say, thankfully, he clarifies that he hates Will Ospreay even more. He will fight back for the championship at some point. But for right now, it is Strickland's time. You can't really disagree with him, can you?
No, he's trying to do a bit of everything here, isn't he, MJF? He's trying to, you know, as he's got the initial tattooed on his calf, like he's trying to put over the company and put over Swerve Strickland as a champion in reality, whilst also skewing kayfabe and trying to return to the MJF of old who just hates everyone and everything.
Yes.
I think he's doing an all right job of it in this quote as well.
I think Ospreay's the ideal opponent for All In if he wants to get hated.
Yeah, well, and this is it, right? Like, as of right now, as we're recording this, he's ostensibly a babyface, not just because he got the cheers he got in Long Island, but he's come back and he's kind of said the same thing about Daniel Garcia. He's buried him whilst putting him over in that wrestler way, whereas the old MJF would have looked to just put you 6 foot deep.
Yeah.
That MJF is to come, one would feel. Like he's going to...
Is he going to have enough content to use on Will Ospreay?
I don't know if he can get there. Like, I don't know if there's anything that he could potentially really target. I need to tell MJF that. He's heard him speak. No, like Ospreay's just incredible, having this amazing year. MJF is one of the biggest stars ever in AEW's history, and that stage seems set for the two of them. They could, of course, argue that they were the reason for last year's crowd. Like MJF was there in the main event against Adam Cole. Will Ospreay became ultimately kind of an AEW certainty and one
undeniable,
of the biggest, one of the biggest stars of the night, as one of its hottest received babyfaces in the building. So I look forward to that. It's a fresh, brand new singles match for a stage befitting of the two of them. So can't wait for all that.
Yeah, but eventually he will fight back for that world title because it just makes sense. I think very disingenuous people being like towards that latter because it was all. The company was spiralling at that point. I don't think it's all down to MJF what happened with that. I think looking back, he'd admit that it didn't go quite to plan, but it's MJF. Any company would love to have him, and I'd love to see him fight Ospreay at All In, and then head to the Crystal Club afterwards for Sweet Chin Disco probably.
Sounds like a great time, doesn't it? That like with it being so close to Wembley,
or
it's like
5 minutes away.
Location you can go to. Thing with getting from Wembley, it's a nightmare after the show's clearing out. But even getting to it, before the show times.
Oh, you want to make sure you're there with plenty of time.
Hours and hours in advance. But it's obviously so busy in and around Wembley, so it's probably tough to get drinks unless I guess you're going to the Crystal Club beforehand.
Yeah, if there's something happening at the Crystal Club before All In, I suppose you could just head there for a bit, couldn't you?
Certainly give it a look. Stick your head in. You can see what's going on. See who's there.
Stick a pin in it.
Yeah. Somebody else who's going to have to stick a pin in it, unfortunately, for the time being, is Asuka. She's obviously been out injured recently, and she's put a video up, sort of detailing her surgery and things like that. But news, unfortunately, is not good. This is coming from a Fight for Select Sean Ross Sapp Q&A. Where he was able to confirm through WWE sources that she's not expected to be back in the ring by the end of this year. She, of course,
July.
I know, yeah. As part of Damage Control, she was able to work WrestleMania, and she was a big part of the storyline that saw Bayley leave the group. As of late on Raw, of course, Damage Control have been back as a trio, albeit now with the current combination is Kairi Sane, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. That appears to be headed towards Splitsville as well, with possibly Io turn on Dakota maybe down the line. Where Asuka will fit, I guess we'll not know.
Rumble return, maybe?
Possibly.
That's February, isn't it, next year?
It is. So she's got a little bit longer to recover. She wants to make that. She has returned in a Royal Rumble before, of course, kind of reintroducing herself in a slightly tweaked gimmick, a bit closer to the Kana character that people really liked back in 2023, 2. You know that one, anyway. You know the one I'm talking about. Get well soon, Asuka. Very, very missed. They were just I think they were just starting to feel out and figure out the new Damage Control when she went down here. So it does feel like by the time she returns, who knows if that stable will still be a thing. But she'd gone long periods, Asuka, without significant time missed. A real cornerstone of the WWE Women's Division for most of the time she's been in it. So she will be missed, and hopefully she comes back better than ever.
Devastating for one of my best mates' kids as well, Jackson. Always asks about Asuka. He's a big fan of hers. He loves Rhea Ripley. Loves Asuka, and he's always asking when's she coming back? He loves the mask and the whole setup and what have you. And I've been very much she's worked through an injury over WrestleMania. She'll be back soon enough. Yeah, hi mate. 2025. Might have to pick a new favourite. Sorry, pal.
Get him into Liv Morgan for the time being. She's all over Raw.
Yes.
Plenty of her.
But yes, wish her well in her recovery, and we'll keep you updated as and when we hear anything about her potential return. But this sucks. Rubbish.
Not good.
But in a time off, she can fill it by watching this morning's news video at least.
I certainly would. I definitely would.
Well, where would you watch it?
I'd probably watch it right here.
Bye!